The final selfless act of a hero, draped in a flag and led by her canine partner Brev, Richmond police officer Sierra Burton makes her honor walk surrounded by her family and her brothers and sisters in blue. And when we spoke to Richmond Police Chief Michael Britt earlier today, he said, "This is a day for grieving." Good afternoon, I'm Cheryl McHenry.
I'm James Brown. Earlier today, doctors took Richmond police officer Sierra Burton off life support after that honor walk we just showed you inside the hospital. And around 3:30 this afternoon, Chief Britt said Burton was alive and family and friends were with her.
This ahead of the procedure to donate her organs. Over the next 90 minutes, we will honor Officer Sierra Burton. We begin our live Team 7 coverage with News Center 7's Mike Campbell, live at Miami Valley Hospital. Mike, you've seen all day an outpouring of support for Officer Burton.
Absolutely right, Cheryl, and it has been a long, difficult day for Sierra Burton's family and, of course, the Richmond Police Department, many of those officers here throughout the day. She's been here since she was shot on August 10th, and we told you yesterday that Richmond Police announced that Sierra Burton would be taken off life support today. But because Sierra had made the decision to be an organ donor, there was a ceremony held inside the hospital known as an organ donation memorial walk. Doctors and nurses, other hospital staff lined the hallways in respect, but with Sierra being a loved member of the law enforcement community, they were joined by officers, deputies, and troopers. Dozens of Richmond police officers began parking along South Main Street in Dayton early Thursday morning. Soon they were joined by dozens more cars driven by Wayne County, Indiana Sheriff's deputies. All of them walking into Miami Valley Hospital, escorted and directed by Dayton police officers. Everyone here to pay their final respects to a young woman and young officer critically injured in the line of duty.
These situations are extremely tragic. We've dealt with them a lot here locally. We have some very recent ones.
Sergeant Kyle Thomas is a Dayton police officer and president of the FOP Lodge 44 that represents Dayton officers. The FOP has done everything they can to help Sierra Burton's family through the excruciating pain of the last 3 weeks. Richmond police said Burton was shot by Philip Lee the night of August 10th. He'd been stopped on suspicion of making a drug buy, and Burton, as a canine handler, was requested to come to the scene. As Burton and her dog Brev approached Lee and the scooter he'd been riding on, he pulled out a gun and shot her in the head. Lee was then shot several times by other Richmond officers. Wednesday, Richmond Police Chief Mike Britt said doctors had described Burton's injuries as unrecoverable and announced she would be removed from life support Thursday. But her organ donor status meant a series of life-saving operations for other people would be done first. That's why her fellow officers and others gathered here to salute her in a memorial walk. Other law enforcement officers who have been through the same process tried to explain the memorial walk and what the atmosphere is.
It's a combination of emotions that is hard to express, right? There's a lot of sadness, a lot of turmoil you're dealing with.
Now we are working to bring you the very latest information. There has been changes throughout the day. We talked about the statement that Chief Britt sent at 3:30, and of course some of that could be also explained by the fact that there are changing medical conditions that can't always be shared publicly. Now we are working to bring you the very latest accurate information about Sierra Burton's condition, about the status of potential organ donation, and what happens next. We will join you 1 hour from now with the very latest. For now, reporting live at Miami Valley Hospital, Mike Campbell, News Center.